afternoon. Let's look at example number 2 from today's lesson. We want to be able to factor this trinomial. So if I look at this, the first thing I have to think about are what are the factors of 3. I can do 3 and 1 or 1 and 3. I also need to think about the factors of -7. Now because it's negative, I actually need to have numbers that multiply together to give me a negative number. So I'm going to have a -7 and 1. And I'm also going to have 7 and a -1. I can have 1 and a -7. I can have a -1 and a +7. All 4 of these options multiply together to give me -7. So I need to list them in order to figure out what my outside and inside terms will be to add up to what's in the middle. So let's look at what we've got first. We multiply these inside terms and these outside terms. I'm going to get a -7 plus 3. That's going to give me a -4, so that's not the pair we're going to go with. Let's go with 3, 1 and 7, -1. If I look at my inside terms, I'm multiplying those together and get 7. If I look at my outside terms, I get a -3. So that ends up being a +4. Well, that doesn't work either. Let's skip down to the next one. If I have 3, 1 and a 1, -7. Here I'm multiplying this together. That's giving me a +1. This is giving me a -21, which when I add those up, it's giving me a -20. Well, I want a +20, so I think I'm going to end up with this next set. So let's try that up here. If I do 3 and 1, -1, +7. So if I look in the center here, I get a -1. If I look at those numbers multiplied together, that gives me 21, so I'm going to add those together. When I add that together, I'm going to get 20, which is what I wanted, so I have found the pairs that I want to use. Now remember, it's very important to keep them in the same order. These parts go into the front of your factors. These parts go into the back of your factors. Now let's FOIL it just to make sure that we did it right. Here I'm going to get 3x squared. Here I'm going to get plus 21x. Here I'm going to get minus 1x. And here I'm going to get minus 7. So if I combine my like terms, I'm going to get 3x squared plus 20x minus 7. So I know that this factorization was correct. Let's look at another example, like number 2. Here we have 6 and a -15. So let's think about all the factors of 6. I could have 1 and 6. I could have 6 and 1. I could have 2 and 3. I could have 3 and 2. -15. Now here we're going to get a whole bunch of things. Because I want a 1 in the middle, I'm going to leave the 1 and 15s till later, but let's try 3 and a -15 or -5. 3 and a -5 because those multiply together. I could have a -3 and a +5. I could have a -5 and a +3. I could have a +5 and a -3. And I could have 1, -15. I could have -1, +15. I could have a -15, +1. And I could have 15, -1. All of those are possible options for -15. So let's work out and see if we can find something that's going to give us a +1. I'm just going to take a look, see if I can see one that jumps out at me. I think I'm going to try this pair and this pair. So if I do 3 and 2 and 5 and -3, I'm going to multiply that together, it's going to give me 10. If I multiply those together, it gives me a -9. So when I add those up, I get 1, which is what I'm trying to get in the middle. So if I put those here, I get a 3x and a 2x plus 5 minus 3. So let's double check it through foiling it out. We're going to get 6 squared. Multiply those together. Minus 9x. Multiply those together. Plus 10x. And we're going to multiply those together, which gets us a negative 15. So if I combine my like terms, I get 6x squared plus x minus 15. So I know that I factored it correctly. That is the end of that example. Have a great day. Bye-bye.